This is a clip from a recent Pops live stream or video. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss the next one.
The final story is probably like the first story that needs to be sort of shared with everybody because it's the one that everybody's talking about in our little nerd circles. Super Mario Galaxy movie has got their first little trailer. It's like basically kind of a trailer. We'll do what we can with it. The big news is everybody's just still hung up on on Brie Larson. She is cast as Rosalina. That's pretty much the news. Like if you watch YouTube and see some different people on some of the other socials, it's like, why should Brie Larson ever work again? Because we hate her, basically. And it's like, okay, hold on. First off, she's not terrible at everything. And it's not all her fault that, these things, she's grown to get the hate she wanted. But she also like turned on fans. She went out and attacked men. She become like the poster child before Rachel Zegler decided to take it from her of everything wrong in Hollywood. So she's got to kind of, an animated movie is probably her best course of action to get some love back in fans and find some people again. I'm not really familiar with Benny Safdie. He's basically going to be about Bowser Jr. And you have just a little bit of generic stuff. He talks about how the sequel is going to pick up where we left off. Oh, it's going to be one of those sites. It's going to give us some headaches here. Transform into a miniature version of himself in the news story. Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach will venture into the galaxy, traveling to different lands. We knew all that. And here's our first little look. So, don't know what we'll be able to see because we have to be careful with copyright because I can't play sound. I'm not going to do sound. I'm not going to get greedy and try to do sound also. So, everybody out there, be mad at me. They can't hear it. Sorry. I didn't really find too much to have issue with. We have pretty much all of our different things that got them all their money and their big successes. I don't know callback. I don't know. I'm not a big enough fan to know much of the references or what's going on. I just know he's obviously tiny and they still have him. That was pretty much the gag they got me on the beginning of the trailer. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the trailer or not. Basically just built a little castle for him. So he's just a little tiny Bowser that lives in this little castle, like in their dining room, foyer or whatever. So, good Illumination's doing their thing. He has like a goofy, silly little voice now. And then did this thing for Princess Peach, and it's kind of little thing. Taylor, did you get a chance to watch the trailer at all?
I did. Yeah, I watched the trailer. Of course, my kids are super excited for this one, so I had to watch it a few times.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I'm kind of happy that they are bringing in other characters. So the Rosalina, despite the casting, I think, like you said, it does. I feel like it does a positive for Brie Larson that it is an animated film and it's not a live action. I think that it'll kind of help with bringing her back as a name in some capacity without it necessarily being super negative on her, because these films are made for the kids. The kids are the ones dragging their parents to these films. They're the ones that are like enhancing and bringing the dollars in. I think it's going to be intriguing to see where they go with it because of the name of this film being based off of one of the most successful Super Mario games for one of the newer consoles. So adds a Super Mario Galaxy storyline and bringing in Rosalina and Luma. It's going to be interesting to see where they take it from here, and then we'll kind of see. But a lot of the things that they're bringing in, with including all these additional characters that we know and love, it's gonna add more to it. And we did see the popularity of them adding a lot of screen time for Toad as a side character in the first film, and I think that that's going to be one of the things that we'll see come across with this one, with Rosalina and Bowser Jr. being introduced.
James, does this fit into the old I just don't care category for you? I mean, this isn't really we're not really the target audience for this one, but it did do well. We knew there was going to be another film and stuff.
Oh, of course. Whenever there's something successful with Hollywood, they're like, oh, we got to do more of this because they're creating something new and taking a risk. Hey, let's just make more of the same and make more money. That's what they do. But a couple aspects I want to say is, first of all, like you said, I knew this would be a sequel to this when I saw how successful the last one was. And again, just plays into what I said before about, like, it seems video games seem to be the new trope that Hollywood's aiming their hopes on to try to save themselves since they burned out pretty much everything else. And but the real big thing is the controversy now. I mean, because that's the thing we got to talk about, is the controversy with Brie Larson. And yeah, she's her own worst enemy in a lot of ways. A lot of the hate that she has, she brought it on herself. But then you think about it, it's like, well, she's probably told by people in the studios and people in the press that, you got to say these things because, you got to be woke, you got to follow the modern audience standard of, the social justice and all that jazz. And so she probably pushed in some of that stuff. And, the hate she got, like you said, she was definitely the Rachel Zegler before Rachel Zegler, she was. And the horribleness of like the movie The Marvels, she owns that because, she became the face of the MCU, and that's what she became as a result of that. But, I look at it and say, is there redemption for her? There could be, because after all, don't forget, in the first Mario movie, they all downed on, Chris Pratt doing the voice of Mario. And there was controversy over him being the Mario character. And yet, look how that turned out. So, is this something that's like, oh, well, she's going to be the voice and now it's going to ruin it? I don't think so. Grace Randolph is a moron. She's just your typical media shill that just follows, whatever she's basically told to say, basically by the studios and whoever else. Because, remember, she's also like one of those who was championing the Captain Marvel character that Brie Larson played when other people hated it. And now she's the one out there hating on Brie Larson, saying, oh, her being in a movie is going to kill it because she can't keep her mouth shut. I was like, but you guys wanted her before, so I don't understand why you hate her now. And so I think overall this is just going to be the controversy, the tempest in the teapot. The movie's going to be probably successful as long as the story is there and as long as the characters remain true to what they were in the first film. Like Taylor said, kids are going to want to see this, and it's likely to be, if not the biggest movie of the year, because we got Lilo and Stitch that broke $1 billion, but I think this might be the only other movie we could see break $1 billion mark type of thing with that kind of stuff that we see now. And so I think it's all just, just a bunch of hooey, all the people who were for Brie Larson, 5 years ago, now they all hate her for the very same reasons that we hated her back then. So it just kills me that these people just can't seem to get their stuff together. And, the movie's going to do well. And, I hope, is it redemption for her? I hope it is. So she can like maybe keep a career of some kind, because I wouldn't want my legacy to be the Marvels. I wouldn't want that to be my legacy.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, if she can just get back to and it is, I am definitely among the few and the loud that can't stand her. I can't. So when we watch Taylor Willis Hess, Mom loves Tom Hiddleston a lot. Oh my god! So we threw that terrible Kong Skull Island movie, which is like okay. And I love parts of it. The other parts, it's bad. The Brie Larson parts are really bad. It's rough. So, but I don't want anybody to like, quote the cancel culture thing. I don't want any of that. Like, you know what? You can be a jackwagon in real life. Fine. Go out and make your living. Hopefully an animated option is one of the better ways to do it. She's not going to affect the box office or anything like that. I 100% agree with James. This is $1 billion type of film. Unless it completely stinks or they put something in the film that's offensive, I don't think parents care. Parents are not going to care about Brie Larson. They didn't care about Chris Pratt, whatever they want to do about that. But they put something offensive in the film. The parents are like, I'm not going to take my kids to see that again. That would be a problem. If they don't do that, they're fine. The video game people will be divided, right, Tay? I mean, the video game people are going to come down, love, hate, just like they did in the Mario movie. I thought the Mario movie was fine. I had a good time with it. But there are video game people who hated it. There's no plot. There's this. There's that. I thought it was all fine. So, last thoughts for you, Tay?
Biggest thing for me is that I feel like the whole purpose of this film is to try to bring more attention to the game side of things. They had a lot of Easter eggs in this trailer, a lot of stuff that they're hinting at to reference all of the games, and they're definitely showing and hinting at a Donkey Kong themed film from this, and all of the influence and the screen time that we got with Donkey Kong in the first film. So I'm interested to see what it is. I have fun with these films because there's a lot for us to enjoy with not only the kids, but just to kind of have like that nostalgia with all of the Nintendo characters that we all grew up with. So we'll see where it goes. I'm trying to not focus so much on the negative aspect and the press that's getting behind the people that are voice acting animated characters. Got to give people a little bit more grace when it comes to these, because especially with the fact that we are seeing a lot of these characters that are being brought to the screen like Chris Pratt's Mario and actually being loved after the film comes out. You just got to give them a little bit of grace and understanding until you actually see the film before you sit there and judge and hark on everything.
Yep, I think that's kind of where a lot of these projects are and a lot of things are, where it's kind of wait and see on these things that we love so much. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.